Dear shorthand writers, this is English shorthand dictation number 64 and the dictation speed is 160 words per minute. Ready? Start. Honorable Chairperson Sir, first of all, this is a very important discussion. We are discussing about the motion of thanks on the President's address. But just a few minutes ago, I was talking to a senior MP who said that in the previous Lok Sabhas, when such an important discussion used to take place, the House would be full because the President's address reflects the state of the nation. In order to hear what the ruling party has to say, everybody used to sit in Lok Sabha. But today what we are seeing are empty chairs and maybe a few disinterested looks. There is a lack of seriousness that we are seeing right from the treasury benches. Where are the cabinet ministers? It is not just the presence of one or two ministers, but the attitude of the ruling party can be seen in their absence in the treasury benches. They have a disdain for the people of India. We know the true state of the nation. I feel proud that today Indian people are out on the streets defending the values of the Constitution. That is democracy. We are not afraid because of what one or two ministers have to say. They can make all kinds of remarks about shooting and about who is a traitor. We are not afraid. The people of India have voted them in and people of India can vote them out also. We are not afraid. But what matters is the value of democracy. What matters is the value of Constitution. The ruling party has this misunderstanding that just because they have won an election, democracy is over. Now for 5 years they can rule like dictator. They can pass laws which are against the Constitution and they can make speeches. It is rather unfortunate. Today is the first time when a ruling party is telling its party workers that the enemies of India are the people themselves. For you, the students of India are your enemies. For you, the women of India are your enemies. For me, they are my fellow citizens and my brothers and sisters. I feel proud of them that they are reading the Constitution. They are talking about democracy. They are talking about the values of democracy. They are talking about freedom. Democracy is not when you win or lose an election. Democracy is when people of India understand the true meaning of freedom and the values on which independent India was founded, and that is what is happening today. Today we have seen so many disturbing scenes of police entering into university campuses, beating up students, beating up professors. A professor of JNU has got a gash on her wound and yet the famed Delhi police cannot nab the culprits. How is that possible? Surely I do not doubt the Delhi police. I am proud of the Delhi police. Delhi police is a modern professional force. They are responsible for the law and order, for the safety of our citizens. They have protected us in the past on numerous such occasions. But what I doubt is that there is a political master giving them instructions. That is why after the incident in JNU, we have not seen anybody apprehended. People are shooting right in front of the police and nothing is happening. My question to you is, who is pulling the trigger? Is it the boy who held the gun? I do not think so. It is not the boy who held the gun who pulled the trigger. The person who pulled the trigger are the ministers provoking that boy. These are the ministers who make inflammatory speeches. Ministers who should be booked under section 153. Ministers who should not be allowed to contest elections by the election commission. If the election commission directs the police to file an FIR under section 153, it is them. I also do not blame only the ministers. It is not them because the ministers are also acting under the instruction of a political master. I know some of the ministers who are fair gentlemen, but there is a political master sitting right at the top who is giving his tacit approval, who is giving his silent approval to his MPs to go and make inflammatory statements. Today, we have heard inflammatory statements being made about Mahatma Gandhi. None of this will happen unless there is a tacit approval from the top. Why has no action been taken against the union minister? Why has no action been taken against an MP? The Parliamentary Affairs Minister talked about the decorum of the House. We had to sadly walk out when the first speaker of the BJP stood up to speak, because this shows the attitude of the BJP. A person who is banned from campaigning by the Election Commission has been supported by the BJP to be the first speaker. If the Election Commission has deemed that the people of India, people of Delhi should not listen to that individual, then why should the Parliament listen to that person's speech? That just shows the attitude of BJP towards the Election Commission and the norms of what governance and democracy means. My submission is that today we as parliamentarians must be responsible. Have we stood to this depth that for winning an election we can forget about smart city, digital India, jobs, GDP, roads, electricity, etc.? Are all these problems solved? Is everybody getting rupees 15 lakh in their accounts? Is the problem of poverty gone? Is the problem of electricity over? Is the problem of unemployment gone? Is the problem of caste-based injustice gone? Is the problem of inequality gone? If these problems are gone, then talk about all the issues that you want to talk about. Unfortunately, the minds of young people are being polluted by ideology based on hate and communal poison. That is why Congress party and other parties are saying that today we have to save the ideas of India, save the ideas of Constitution, and save the ideas of freedom. We can have a double-digit GDP, but if India does not remain India, then who are we? Does progress only mean that we have made roads, created electricity and given water? No doubt your government has done this job, but that is incremental. It is not as if toilets were not built before. It was not as if roads were not being built before. And it was not as if bank accounts were not created before. Governance is a continuing process and development is a continuing process. If you want to make more roads and give more jobs, I have no qualms with you. We will talk about who did more. Let us have a competition about who built more roads, who gave more jobs, who lifted people out of poverty, and who created a glowing image of India. Let us have a discussion about who the real enemies of the people of India are. It is unemployment and it is inequality. People of small and rural towns are saying that here there is somebody who is driving a Mercedes and somebody is going to a big private school and they have a college degree, but a young person cannot support his own family because he is not earning a good income. That is the problem that we are facing today. Let us get away from the politics of poison and hate and let us get into the politics of hope. That is what has taken India forward. It was hope that won India her freedom and not hate. It was hope that took India forward from independence through the troubled times of the Green Revolution, through the troubled times of the Cold War, and through the troubled times of the Great Recession in 2008. It is always hope that will take a nation forward. You with your hate are taking India back. Please take us forward. That is my only sincere request to you. At the end, there has been a fair amount of infrastructure which has been created. There has been a fair amount of health infrastructure being created. There are hospitals, schools and colleges. Health and education infrastructure are there. But what people want is a good economy. This government has got a good mandate. I agree that in 2019, this government has got a good mandate in Lok Sabha. And this is the budget that you gave us. What is the point of getting such a big mandate if you cannot deliver a budget that takes India out of the economic troubles that we are in? You released a budget. Will the budget reverse the highest unemployment in the last 4 decades? The highest unemployment was in the last 4 decades. Please remember that the next time you say that the unemployment is the real enemy. The lowest GDP was in the last 6 years. Will this budget reverse the lowest GDP in the 6 years? It does not look so. Will this budget reverse the private investment, looking at the way the private investment was going down? You have reduced corporate tax rate to 22%. It is 15% for new manufacturing companies. How much private investment has taken place? Your entire economy and vision are empty and devoid, and you are full of just pure rhetoric. You are famous for giving something with one hand and taking away something from the other hand. You are giving relief by reducing corporate tax rate, but farmers are not getting any relief.